All right, we are live with episode 34 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Before we get going, we do want to say today is Veterans Day. So, anybody that served in the military, thank you for your service. I say that very sincerely. Thank you very much. We appreciate it because it lets us have the freedom to be able to get on a video chat with our friends and talk about video games every Thursday night. Today is Thursday, November 11th. I'm not Ryan Fox. I'm here with Jared.
Oh yeah, it's a great day. A great day to be American, and thank you all for your sacrifice that you put forth. And this week in Destiny is it's a big week. I think Fox's boy Cosmo came through clutch with a lot of weapon changes that's going to be going on.
And Chad Ocero.
I also want to thank you for your service. Anyone in any armed forces, I have a couple friends that are still in, and I talk to them as frequently as I can, and I really appreciate them for it. And like Jared said, we're coming in hot on this one, and I'm really happy about it. Lots of changes, and we're gonna get right into there soon.
All right, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, don't forget you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, etc. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, and then resubscribe. Click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Jared, let's get weird.
All right. First thing is Bungie's giving everybody a free emblem, and it is the Be True emblem. So that is next week. It's Transgender Awareness Week. So those people that has gone with you through some hardship, over the years to try to live the life they just want to live a normal life. So those people still set up a little inspiration week, and that way to everyone help guide us as a path to a better future, and may it shine brighter is like the bottom line is what they're wanting to get through there. And here we are being a broken record again, talking about trials. Let's hurry up and get through this. But Trials Labs returns this weekend with Control, and this time it's going to be on Endless Veil. So that's a map that's been around for a long time in the Destiny world, and it's going to be better, pretty balanced map. And this time the control points are basically going to be across the middle of the map. That's not going to be like depending on who won or lost the previous rounds. So that's a change. And also players no longer get super from capturing a zone. And then also this weekend we'll have double rank reputation booster. So you just get double the rep for win, loss, or whatever. It just depends on where you are in the card. And then going forward, Bungie is looking into rewards after you get 7 wins on the card.
Hallelujah.
Fox, last week, you was out vacation, so I was like, all right, I need to play a little bit of Trials. So I played Monday night like usual. If I ever was going to play, I would play Monday night. And that's when they was doing the match based on how many games you won that weekend.
Right.
And
how'd it go? Did you make it to the lighthouse?
I didn't, but I helped 2 people get there. We went. I didn't reset my card because I didn't have, the hopes of going flawless. I was like, I'm getting this reputation. And I was running and I switched characters, and when I joined up with them, so I already had 2 wins and a loss on the card. I was like, I'm not resetting. But we went 9-1 and 8 games in a row.
That's pretty good.
But, we didn't play all weekend and just waited till Monday night. So Flawless Pool's coming back again. So it's kind of going to be the same boat.
That strategy. I love that strategy, but the only issue is if you get bad luck on those lighthouse games, that Monday night can turn into a Tuesday morning real quick, as it has with me in the past.
Yeah. So Flawless Pool's back. So if you don't want to mess around with the Super Sweat Lords, and after they get the Flawless in, we don't know when the reset. We're guessing it's going to be set at the same time on Sunday. They did, which is noon Eastern now. So with the time changes, depending on your state, is turned on daylight savings and kept it, or what's going on. I wish we would just as a country turn it on and leave it on. But now it's noon Eastern is reset.
and it'll take me all the way up until March to remember that, and then at that point it'll go back to what it is prior.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so hopefully this control weekend's nice. A lot of players play, and it all depends on what the depth rewards are and what people are chasing. One thing I did figure out last week, Fox, is that even if you get 7 wins, you already have the weapon unlocked. You can't spend the 7. You can't turn in the card to get the weapon, which I think is a mistake.
Know. You and I both. It says must acquire flawless chest or something in red on there. I noticed that whenever Shayura's Wrath came back around, I was like, man, this is sweet. Now I'll just be able to grind out 7 win cards, and then, but no, they, they miss a lot of things in this game, or they do things that I don't understand. They overlook a lot of things, but God forbid they overlook something that gives us a little bit of extra nice loot. We cannot do that no matter what.
Yeah. All right. December 7th, there's going to be tons of weapon changes. And, everybody's favorite dev, Chris Proctor, is going to guide us through some of the changes and the thought processes of what they came up with. First things up, shotguns. And slug shotguns has been like the DPS king since they got buffed. I think it's season 13 or 12 is when they got their big buff. So most people on Templar double slugs Anarchy for a long time. That's probably still a good option if particle deconstruction wasn't a thing. So the bonus damage is now going down to a plus 20%, and it was a plus 30%. And then pellet shotguns are getting a 10% damage increase in PvE. So, this will be following the trend here tonight, and is that we're going back to the old meta of Destiny. It just goes up and down. The same things get buffed, then they nerf them, and new things rise up. So we're going back to the old ways. This reminds me of the rapid fire frame Aquila shotgun. That might be coming back to be in the meta again. So, all right,
there's some pretty good rolls on that, right? On that the Icolos.
Yeah. You can get Transparo, you can get Vorpal, and then you can pair it with a couple of decent reload perks too.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing, linear fusion rifles. Even if particle deconstruction didn't exist, they're not where they want them to be at. So they're getting a 10% PvE buff, and that's all of them, even the exotics. Caster frame swords. The heavy attack took 8 ammo. Now it's only going to take 5. So good change there. Bows,
what are the different flavor caster swords? I know we have Solas and Temptation's Hook. What's the other one? Do we have another one?
It's an exotic and it just it's that.
Yeah, Talon. Talon's the only void one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bows. Bows a lot in PvE right now with Overload. They're still not doing enough damage to rank and file enemies, so that's red bars, but like majority of red bars. So like you could see a Shrieker that's a red bar. That's considered a vehicle, not a rank and file enemy. So not all red bars are rank and file. So the easier ones are 10% more damage to them. And then sidearms and fusion rifles, depending on your frame rate, was either hit scan or projectile. So if your frame rate was 60 or above, and it went out and it didn't reach its target in one frame, it became a projectile instead of the hit scan that was intended to be. So they increased the projectile speed from 999 to 9,999. And if you click on the TWAB, it takes you to a little YouTube clip of a Dragon Ball Z. It was pretty funny. It's like it was impossible. Somebody's over level 9,000 and stuff. So people at Bungie definitely like their anime. All right, so those are some good changes overall. Fox, you brought up caster frames. There's another sword nerf that's on down into it. I really like the changes, and I'm thinking about some pellet shotguns to compete in PvE again. It was just
I'm definitely excited. It's gonna be fun to see. Especially seeing that. I mean, you can basically farm the shotgun, Ekalos,
Mm-hmm.
so you can get some fun rolls on it. And there's lots of good pellet rolls, but everybody's been dumping them for slugs since Deepstone.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it's
for
gonna
sure.
be gonna be nice to be able to use both of them because slugs aren't gonna be horrible again. They're just trying to bridge the gap there a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if they succeed there.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you guys hate this, and I'm sorry, but I've been a little distracted while you were talking through there. Mainly whenever we got to the sword portion of this. So these buffs, these weapon changes happen like with the 30th anniversary pack, right?
Yeah, December 7th.
Okay, and we know that we're getting some weapons like returning, like maybe from like there's been rumors that like the pistol from Halo CE is coming back as like a weapon, and other weapons from other previous Bungie games. So do you think like the energy sword would maybe be a caster that they would use to fill that other slot?
I would say I would expect one in Witch Queen. I'm not expecting one with the 30th anniversary pack.
I 100% the energy sword is way too Halo to be in Destiny. Like
Oh, so
they had to,
you don't think they're gonna bring it?
dude. It's like that sword is like trademarked in Halo. Like you can't copy it. It
I
is
bet it's
Halo.
there. I bet it's there. I bet it is. I see. I don't know. I'm probably have my hopes up way too high for this
Yes, you
anniversary
do.
pack.
I'd-
But
As
I
a
was-
company man, no,
my
that
hope
sword is too Halo.
my hope is that we get like the pistol, like the iconic weapons from their previous games. That's what I would love to get those in. So like
well,
the pistol from Halo CE and
they
I mean,
already
technically, that's not their game.
they already shown a sword that we're getting. We're getting the one that's from the game before Halo. I forgot the name of it, but
The
is that
Marathon
Myth
series.
or Oni or
yeah,
Marathon?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Myth.
yeah, because
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
Bungie game. That's
yeah.
a Bungie game.
Yeah, we're getting
Mhm.
that sword. Like they shown it in the showcase.
I don't know, man. We're getting a Halo weapon. I'm telling you,
They
Phil
they don't have
Spencer,
rights to
the
Halo,
head of,
man.
Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, loves Bungie. Look at all the games on Game Pass and everything. We're getting a Halo weapon. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be the sword, but
Okay.
I will take any side bet for Conqueror's Corner that we get a Halo weapon
Okay.
for this.
All right then. So yeah, we're all looking forward to that 30th anniversary. Hopefully, we get some more trailers here coming up. All right. So next thing we're tuning some exotics, and first thing is Vex Mythoclast. So it's been pretty hot in PvP. It when it came out, it was kind of lackluster for not that it was kind of just, hey, you got it, cool, but until the buff that came at the beginning of the season, which helped it out a lot. So what they're going to do, they're going to take down the aim assist stat by 25, and then they're going to reduce the linear fusion rifle mode aim assist cone from 1.1 to 1.05, and then it now requires three eliminations in PvP to get a full overcharge instead of the 2. Early, how do you think? Do you think that's enough for the weapon?
It'll definitely be something to see. The 3 elims is definitely significant because that means that it's like a 33% increase in the stats per kill versus 50. So you need to get 3 kills before it becomes the monster that it is currently. The cone angle scaler is a good amount, and then the aim assist reduced by 25 is also a good amount.
Yeah.
But again, it's gonna be something that is gonna have to be tested. I'm gonna have to see it before we know, what it really all boils down to there.
You can definitely hit some shots with that weapon. You're like, I won't have been aiming that close. And even on mouse and keyboard, I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. to see them bend.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't-
do you think? So I thought that the elims part that to me seemed like strictly for trials, to where you couldn't kill two people and then have the linear fusion shot to kill the third guy.
yeah.
To me, that seemed the rationale for that. The aim assist by 25. So how much, Jared? You're kind of my go-to guy for this right here. How much will that affect mouse and keyboard as opposed to a controller?
So aim assist stat is how much bend happens to the bullet. So,
Okay.
so MEK has a high accuracy stat. Like where we were pointing at is where the bullet should go. So we also get a lot of help through that. I see this hurting controller more than mouse and keyboard, but I think
Okay.
it's still going to be viable on both.
Okay. I mean, maybe they. Do you think this will be successful as far as like let's knock it down but not kill it?
Yeah, I think in trials weekends it's definitely been in the top 10. And I think in one weekend or two it maybe has creeped into the top 5. So I think it's maybe one weekend's in the top 10, but it's still going to be in the top 20, I think. Especially in sixes.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think this gun's going to be very good in sixes.
Right. Maybe that's I play, like my PvP this season, I played way more 3s than 6s. Maybe that's why I didn't feel like it was so overpowered as everybody else seemed to. So,
yeah, it's in 6s is where it was really raining pain. All right. Next exotic is Fighting Lion. They changed a lot to breach action grenade launchers this season, and they hit this one hard because it takes primary ammo. They don't want people just continuously using a grenade launcher. That can be very oppressive and not fun to play against. And I say it wouldn't have been fun to play against the way it was now. So this is going to be even more rough. So they removed the multi-hit requirement for getting the buff for reload speed. The reload buff is now a plus 70 from the plus 50. And then increase the buff duration for 7 seconds. To 7 seconds now. Shout out to the Fighting Lion Reddit. I'm sure y'all are rejoicing right now. But this is a gun that I would have been okay with. That just let it die and just collect dust.
I don't know, man. I really like this gun in PvE. Like I have a lot of fun with Fighting Lion. In PvP, it's very frustrating to me. So I understand that from that point of view. But I love this gun in PvE.
All right, next one here. I wish they would have had this done about 2 weeks ago. Arbalist is going to be getting intrinsic anti-barrier. Man, this thing really would have came in helpful running Proving Grounds.
Oh yeah.
Word.
All right, next one. A weapon that's been meta at multiple times through D1 and D2, Sleeper Simulant. It is getting the before mentioned 10% increase to the PvE damage, and getting another 6% on top of that, and increasing the magazine to 4, previous 3. Man, this is you might have to put down to 1K and just start using this instead for the rest of the season.
The problem is still how they treat the ricochet rounds, because at the moment they deal like 0.1% damage.
Okay.
Because of what was going on with a couple of different bosses that had shields, you were able to delete the boss immediately. And then with the raid boss from Crown of Sorrows, because he had a helmet on, it would dink around in the helmet. And I understand the reasoning for it, but it just it's now just a linear, and then you treat it like a regular linear, even though it has the reflections. Those don't do anything.
Yeah.
Even with a 16% buff, what's 16% on top of like 0.1% damage? It's not much.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be a monster, but it's gonna feel better than regular linears. But it's like it's an exotic. It should already feel better and do way more damage. I'll have to definitely see how it does against some stuff, but 1K is one of those real easy
Don't have
spray and
crits.
don't have to pray.
Yeah.
Just there it is.
Hey, you have to pray somebody doesn't strafe in front of you, but that's about it.
No, that's a given. So I don't have to pray to that not to happen. I know it's going to, so it's worthless.
All right. The next exotic they're touching is one that came out of left field to me, and that's Service Regime. So the dual mode receiver mode now grants the following additions. It is plus 30 range and plus 3s to zoom. That's the mode that's a slow firing mode. Makes it at the 360 RPM. It naturally shoots as the 600, and then the ramping up speed, I think it gets up to like to the 720 RPM at the end of the spinning up, or somewhere around there. That's what it felt like to me. Because like I seen this, I was like, I don't even know what the two modes work. I haven't used this weapon in so long. This is very.
When's the last time you used that weapon? Actually, have you used it? No, have you used it since Shadowkeep came out?
I think I used it in Season of the Rivals when the 600 RPM auto rifles got that huge buff. I
Okay.
used it a little bit then, but after that, I haven't touched it. And before that, I don't think I probably didn't use it since like Destiny 1. Like I think I got
Right,
it in
that's what I
Destiny
was
2,
thinking.
got the catalyst done, and didn't touch it.
I mean, that gun in Destiny 1 was the absolute meta there for a good bit, it seemed like.
All right, next one here is the Cryesthesia 77K. So whenever this gun launched in Season 14, as one of the stasis was at the height of its powers, and they didn't want to get a stasis gun in everybody's hand again. And when the community was like, you can't bring any more stasis into the game when you need to fix what's in it. So they reworked this weapon. So it no longer has the trigger whenever you let off the triggers when the gun fires, just like how the other sidearm does it. I just forgot its name.
The laser beam one, yeah, I know which one. No.
Devil's Ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, it shoots whenever you release the trigger. So now they've removed it from Cryesthesia. So now this is going to fire normally. After you get a kill with it, you can do like you do the Izanagi reload, and like you like get a big reload on it, and then that freeze shot was to continue to freeze the enemy if you hit them directly, but also say like you shoot the ground and there's like 3 guardians next to each other, you don't direct hit any of them. All 3 of them is going to get slow if they hit the AoE portion of it. And then it doesn't take your entire mag when you shoot that reload shot. The super shot, the shot is just there, and then you continue on shooting with the mag. So definitely a huge buff to this sidearm. Still not going to use it.
That gun might be busted coming out.
I would say you're going to see a lot of this on consoles.
Yeah.
Next exotic here is Leviathan's Breath. I got a catalyst back in Season of the Hunt, and that catalyst didn't do enough for it. So what they're doing, they're adding Archer's tempo to what the catalyst already does. So I think with catalyst you can hold 15 arrows, I think. And then so tacking on Archer's tempo on top of that. So just be able to DPS a little bit better with that bow, with the unstoppable that it has. All right, another blast from the past that's been meta nerfed, meta again. Whisper of the Worm. And now Whisper Breathing only takes 1.2 seconds to proc. Was 2.1. The Right Nail magazine now pulls 2 from your inventory and 1 from thin air. And then it's also getting a 10% PvE buff. Guys, we're going back to Wells, Whisper of the Worms. Get ready for that day 1 raid.
Can't wait, baby.
Yep. So another heavy sniper.
Ryan's got his divinity. He's got his divinity loaded.
Does
ready to
Whisper
go.
work with divinity?
The only bad part is that whenever it's sniper season, like I put way more DPS than everybody else on the fire team in sniper time. So you guys, if you stick me with divinity, which typically I'm more than happy to do, you're going to be losing my like T1 DPS with snipers. So I don't know. We're gonna have to discuss this off air, I suppose.
I say everybody needs to grow up. We don't need to use divinity.
I would be fine with that too. But only but like sniper time. But you know, we'll see how it goes.
All right. Another heavy sniper rifle getting a nice little buff here, and that's Darcy. So reduce flinch, recoil, and accuracy degradation by 50% while personal assistant is active. So that's whenever you aim down sights. And it only going to take now an hour to a second to proc. So it used to take a little bit longer.
Damn.
An hour, yeah.
Damn.
And also is getting a 20% PVE damage boost. So, you know, with Darcy, you don't have to worry too much about if you miss one of your crits, you can continue shooting on and get that quick reload in, unlike Whisper. So maybe if somebody that's not good at hitting their crits, they might need to use Darcy instead. And then Malfeasance. A gun that was pretty unique when it launched with Gambit. You know, it had a lot of benefits if you used it inside of Gambit, but now the increased explosion damage is going to do 50% more. So that's whenever you attach 5 shots to an enemy, and then it explodes. I've seen a lot of people use this with Lucky Pants. So I think if hand cannons have like anti-barrier or overload or unstoppable next season, I could see people actually using that pairing their Lucky Pants and putting out some damage on some champions that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a big fan of Malfeasance. It just needs something, and that 50% could be good because it's not just one explosion from the 5 shots. All the bullets detonate, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember, so each of those bullets is getting a 50% increase for that entire, because it goes bang. It's like a firework, just all 5 go off. So it's gonna be funny to see in Gambit if you do a 4 stack of hunters with Lucky Pants.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be like a 1K particle deconstruction, but it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, those like the blockers and stuff aren't going to exist. They're just not. It's going to be fun to watch. But I love that gun. So it's going to be fun to see it do anything better and see if people actually stick to it.
Yeah, I could see a lot of people doing it, especially if hand cannons have overload or unstoppable, using it for like the legendary and the heroic lost sectors, like you go in solo.
Oh yeah,
and use it for that. All right.
I thought that gun had the best quest out of any exotic quest that we've had. I really enjoyed getting that one.
Yeah, because like you had to do like multiple missions, right? And multiple different. Yeah, it was definitely fun. All right, another exotic here, Dead Man's Tale, and it's really had its time in the sun, you know, especially on mouse and keyboard. And so Bungie wants some controller people to experience the way it feels, and they're making some changes to a lot of things here, and we'll try to get through it, but it's going to be weird. So the first thing, increase reticle friction fall off distance, no effect on mouse and keyboard. So that's the stickiness whenever like you take your reticle and like you go over a target and like it slows it down. This is with a controller, not mouse and keyboard. It slows it down over top of it. So that's going to happen more meters out now. So they didn't give an exact number. It's probably going to depend it on the range stat of your weapon. And the next thing is less recoil, reduced effect on mouse and keyboard. So mouse and keyboard is getting a little bit of benefit here. There's going to be less recoil overall on the weapon, and the controller should feel more of that reduction than what mouse and keyboard should. And then improved accuracy, and then reduced effect on mouse and keyboard. So this is the thing that made it so good on mouse and keyboard, was the hip fire accuracy that was like going out to 40 meters. So they're improving the accuracy of the weapon, and a controller should feel more of the accuracy buff than what it is now. And to say what it is now, it's been decently balanced, I would say, with the latest round. But now it's going to get better on mouse and keyboard, even compared to what it was. So this is, we might go back to DMT meta.
I've been running the Presage mission once, if not twice, every week, trying to get the Vorpal roll and the moving target roll that I want for that gun. So if you're kind of running out of stuff to do, that's something you can do for an hour each week.
All right. Next is the Heir Apparent Catalyst. So that the arc shield you see running around in PvP, somebody grabs that heavy and they're just an absolute tank. They reduce the damage resistance against players from 75% to 25%. Like I seen a thing like tank golden gunshots, and like the person still goes on and stuff. So just get away from that and just get that reined in a little bit. The next exotic here is the Winch Driver. Remove the ability energy regeneration on picking up telemetry. So that's the little things you drop whenever they get highlighted, and you go pick them up. It give you a little bit of. It used to give you ability energy, and it won't on December 7th. All right.
So,
yeah.
Are we going to talk about this now or later?
Later.
This gun. Okay.
Yeah, more to come about this gun. All right. Travel's Chosen. It's getting nerfed. And kind of, this one came out of nowhere. And True Vanguard's upset. But, and now per stack grants 10% to your abilities. And now stacks granted on a Guardian defeat is now 2 and it was 3. So it's going to be harder to get some of that free ability energy from getting kills. And True Vanguard tweeted that out, and DMG replied. And he said, basically, this is a part of the tuning patch that is coming December 7th or in the future about ability usage inside PvP. So in the future, they're going to be touching how often you can use grenades and melees, class ability stuff. And because this gun gave you that so easily with a reload after getting a kill, that's why it's playing part. All right, so that's all the exotic weapon changes. So to me, I love Whisper coming back to being amazing, and then potentially Sleeper Simulate again. I think it's a super fun gun to use. I mean, anything else stick out to you guys?
I mean, I'm definitely excited about Whisper. Whisper is always great. Always a fun gun.
Destiny
but
feels like
that's
Destiny.
the only one. That's the only one that I'm really excited about. The other changes I feel like were more necessary than something to be excited about for me personally.
Yeah.
So that's just how I'm rolling on this one.
All right.
Yeah, definitely a Whisper. That's my gun, and it's kind of weird. What was it, like a month ago? One of our questions was, how would you like change Whisper?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. So that, and I also kind of like the PvE damage buff on the linear fusions.
Yeah.
I think that could be, it kind of keeps them relevant. So you're not having to use a rocket or like or a grenade launcher for your heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. All right. Next thing is perks. You know, we've been talking about this for a few weeks now. Adrenaline Junkie is getting this change. And here it is. So eliminations with a weapon will add a single damage stack or extend the stack that is currently on. And that stack goes up to 5. And a grenade kill will automatically give you that times 5. And then they lower the duration of Adrenaline Junkie like being active. So basically, this is a grenade swashbuckler. That's exactly it. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. What would it be? And it's like it's just make a swashbuckler for grenades. So I have a few weapons I kept that on. I kept it on some Fatebringers. So I'm excited about that. We'll get to that later on. Guns to go chase with these new perks. All right.
I saw that. Okay, never mind then. I'll save it.
All right. Vorpal Weapon. This perk is like the go-to perk in Column 4 for majority of weapons, especially heavy weapons. So Bungie's not really liking that. So now it's only going to grant 10% bonus damage if it's a heavy weapon. It's going to continue to keep it the 15 damage bonus if it's a special weapon. And then if it's a primary weapon, it's now going to give you 20% bonus damage from the... So They'll just even it out across the board a little bit. So I guess this is giving some more room for like explosive light, and on rocket launchers to be better. I guess firing line on the linear fusion reads regret. That's better than what it used to be now. But I think we all three of us got vault space that's full of Vorpal weapons because that was the go-to that we might can go delete now.
Except DMT, which
True.
would now be at 20%, right?
Yep.
I still haven't got one of those. Granted, I've only ran that thing like 15 or 20 times, so I haven't ran it as much as you guys have, but still. Be nice to get one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cousin Cody got one on his second run. All right. The next perk has been the perk for all swords for a long time now, Whirlwind Braid. And it used to only take 5 swipes to get that max damage, and now it's going to take 10 swipes to get there. So that's a heavy hit to a lot of people's swords they've been using for a long time.
It is. First of all, we got a guy in the chat here, Jesse. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. It's good to see you. But that is definitely going to be a big change on the Whirlwind Blade there.
Which really just opens the room for something else to the people to chase. That's not just the same perks on every single sword. All right, this next perk is Pulse Monitor. It's a perk that usually only happened and only kicked in whenever you're about to die, and they're changing that. So now it's going to activate whenever your shield gets to 30%, and it was activating when your health got to 90%. So to me, probably a 1 hand cannon shot to the head is proccing this. So what this is doing then is reloading the weapon that has Pulse Monitor and gives it increased handling. So I looked in my vault. I had 1 weapon with it.
We've already talked about it, saying it's an insta shard for us. I mean, making it so that this procs at that threshold is much better because you're actually going to use it. If you're already at the threshold that you were at initially, you were dying. You were already on your way to dying. So you couldn't really take advantage of it. But with the change that's happening now, I mean, it's now better than some of the other options, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he said, I might have 2.
Yeah.
Oops.
I have 2, and one of them was on the Icolor shotgun, and the other was on a weapon that is at the Postmaster, so I'm not even sure that one counts.
The whole Icolor's just got a boost, so...
Yep. All right. So that's it for the perk changes. The next thing is mods. And the first one here is Quick Access Sling. That's mainly only used in PvP. It is either used on breach action grenade launchers or bows. And I know our buddy Unknown Soldier uses this a lot with his bows. What it used to do, it used to give you plus 100 handling and 0.9 multiplier to ready, stow, and aim down sight speeds for 0.4 seconds whenever you switched the weapon. So now it's only going to give you the 0.9 scalar for ready and stow all the time. So this is something they're looking towards changing. That's going on in the sandbox, is how quickly people can swap weapons and get that cleanup kill. I know this is a hard hit for the people that love the bow hand cannon one shot combo, which was, I mean, it was borderline. I mean, I'd say a lot of people couldn't pull it off, but now it's going to be even a little bit tougher. Maybe you need to spec into it in another way or two.
Was that the elemental capacitor? Was that the other thing that you would add to it to really make it deadly?
That's, yeah, if you're on the arc subclass, that gives you like plus 30 handling. All right, this next mod is a stop fill. Okay, so they've talked about making guns full auto, like by just like inside the game, right? So like big thing is like sidearms. You have to fire super fast to achieve their time to kill, and they don't have that all the way ready for the game yet. So the thing they can do for right now is add a weapon mod. So that's full auto retrofit. And this would be able to go on legendary hand cannons, sidearms, scout rifles, and pulse rifles. And it's unlocked by default for all players. So I think there's a lot of players out there that maybe didn't have the ability to pull the trigger or hit the mouse like a bunch of times. So this is now just a way for them to use those weapons for the fullest ability until they get that big change later on. It probably won't come until season 17. All right. So
And
we got
the full auto on a hand cannon, that's not the last word, would probably feel pretty bizarre, right?
maybe with the 180s would feel okay. Maybe, but I don't. I think it would feel quite weird on a 120 and a 140. I think you'll see this on the rapid flame pulse rifles and the sidearms. But say like you already have full auto on one of your pulse rifles, right? There's no reason to delete that weapon, because especially if you want to use Icarus or something like that, it's going to take the place of that mod slot. So don't delete those weapons if you like them. All right, just some quick notes here for the future. Exotic weapons, or the Bungie looked into a way for them to make orbs even though they don't have a catalyst. Weapon differentiation, so like they brought in the point of 2 void hand cannons. So like if they come out with a new void hand cannon, why would somebody chase the new void hand cannon whenever they already have one in the vault? So they're coming out with something new in Witch Queen that makes you want to chase the new weapon. And special ammo.
What would that be?
What came to mind to me is a new mod system that the old weapons won't be able to take.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. They essentially sunset all the weapons that we have now without calling it sunsetting, but we can still use them, but they just won't be as good.
Yep. The new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're ballsy enough to try to do that again?
Well, I think they'll run into the issue now again of like, why would people chase the new weapons when people already have the weapons?
Unless like the old weapons aren't craftable, but these new ones you can do crafting, so you can like be able to switch the mods around. That's really about the only thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that you could change the reticles. Like I said, maybe somebody wants a like the little like the triangle top or a red dot or something like that. Maybe that's coming into the game. All right, and then the next thing is that special ammo economy in PvP, and mainly in 6s, is not where they want it to be at, so it's going to be a change in the future for that. And they also want exotic primaries that have more love in high-end PvE activities. They do have the bonus of you spawn more of the ammo finder bricks. That's the smaller ones. But that still is not enough to them. They want to see more of that. And there's going to be some gravy and stuffing to eat along the way. So, all right. So, next we're going to talk about some weapons that had the perks change. You know, there might be a reason to go back and grind some of these weapons and these activities that you haven't been to in a little while. So the first one we're going to look at Vault of Glass, and Fatebringer has Adrenaline Junkie in the last column. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I can hear you in here.
Okay. All right. So the Vault of Glass weapons, a lot of them do have Adrenaline Junkie in there in some way. So what I'm looking at, Adrenaline Junkie, I'm looking at the primary weapons. That's Fatebringer, and that's in that last column. So you can have that. You have an explosive payload in that third column, and just range it out or stability, whatever you need. And that's a pretty good fun roll. And then the next one to go look for is that corrective measure with Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie combo. So here's my question. What are we going to call that combo? So you have the letters D, A and J. Is it the dash? The dodge? The dodge combo?
I don't know, man. I think you got to leave out adrenaline, and you got to do something with like demo and junkie.
So just the DJ combo?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
Okay.
We'll have something for next week.
We're working on it. All right. And then the prophecy. There's a lot of stuff in there. And guess what? There is 2 weapons with that very combo. The last breath, the auto rifle, and the judgment, the hand cannon. Sounds pretty fun to me. So you can get in on prophecy, which is the best dungeon in the game right now, and farm it. That would definitely change come December 7th. All right, and then another thing in prophecy, the sudden death, the arc shotgun. It can get pulse monitor on it. So that's in the 3rd column, and you compare that with elemental capacitor if you like running that arc class for the handling, or just get that snapshot with the full choke combo, and you want to have increased handling and have a shotgun that's super snappy.
Yeah, I think Fallout got that roll today.
You got threat detector.
I saw him. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. I was watching him today, waiting for him to read the TWAB.
Okay, I just saw it on Twitter, so I was. He was. Was it Sir D or Cammy? He was. I think it was Cammy Cakes. He was tweeting that.
Yeah,
going at
Cammy spent a lot of time in there trying to get something like that. All right, a knife weapon. You know, we talked about the comedian and like it didn't really blow us away, right? But now that subsistence adrenaline junkie roll makes a little bit better sense on that shotgun. You can get subsistence rampage on it too. It's just, this is another option. Maybe you have it hiding out in your vault. This is a weapon I've only got one to drop, and it was terrible. So maybe we get that on one of the Devil's Lair weeks or the Lake of Shadow week. And then a will drop. So, everybody has a falling guillotine that they've been using since season 10, right? But now,
yep,
that last column you might want to change. So the one I have actually has this in the next perk slot. I have the Whirlwind Blade, but also I have the option to change it to On Guard. So On Guard does that increased damage right when you bring out the sword. So this is something I think that you quickly DPS like a champion. Like you're going up to it with an overload sword, and you're just getting a few swipes in, and then doing the heavy attack, and that champion should most of the time die in most levels of content, or you finish it off with the finisher. So that's what comes to mind for me for something else to go look for that. And then trials. Solo Scar, relentless with either chain reaction or frenzy. Obviously everybody looked for that chain reaction for a long time, but frenzy, it's so easy to proc frenzy in PvE, and I'm even seeing videos of people procking it in PvP if you really try to keep that going. And then Weed's Regret with triple tap or clown cultures and firing line. That's going to be even better now with that nerf that came to Vorpal, which I think most people would look for this anyways.
Yeah, firing line's definitely going to be a thing for linears down the line there for sure. You get 6 people with firing lines just shooting. I mean, you can either do that or use Whisper, but if you're using other exotics in the other lanes, it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. And man, I'm gonna have to re-roll that thing because I didn't get any firing line or Vorpal reads, so now I got more stuff to look for. I'm not excited about that.
Just a reason to go get in that wonderful playlist and grind it out, Chad.
Yeah.
So, man, they changed a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of new weapons to go out there and grind for. And maybe you can now clean up the vault with a lot of the stuff now that you're going to delete, that they're going to buff a season and a half from now.
I think that's happened before.
Yes, it happens many times as you go through your life of Destiny.
Are we ready for the gambling corner?
Yeah. I think so.
All right. So we'll be real honest with you guys here. Because I was on vacation and had some travel issues thanks to American Airlines, we were unable to kind of correlate our schedules in order to be able to do the Devil's Lair. And so, as a result of that, we're going to have to kind of wipe the last gambling corner that we did. So, we're just going to wipe that out, pretend it never happened. I still have the 40,000 Glimmer was what I paid for a 2-hour Gambit Puppet Master section, it says on here. And our current totals is I have 52,000 Glimmer, Chad has 17,500 Glimmer, and Jared has 14,000 Glimmer. So, seeing as GM season is no longer with us, RIP, we are kind of mixing it up a little bit. So, our thought was, what if during our Gambit, playtime, 2 hours is what we have it set at. We set a over/under at a 59.9% win percentage. So if we win 60% or more of our games, that would be the over. And if we hit 59.8% or less, that would be the under. So I guess we'll put since we will be running a 4-stack, so us 3 and then cousin Cody was wanting to get in on that. I think that the over should be favored slightly. So what if we do what do you think? Minus 120 on the over.
I think it's a
59.9%.
200.
Do minus 200, you think?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get this in here. So we'll do minus 200 is over. And then you think just plus 100?
Yeah.
I'll be real honest with you guys. We were too late to get to Mr. Vegas here. So does everybody kind of understand the bet? Basically, are we going to win 60% or more, or 59% or less in this 2 hours? And I guess that if the other team, if the other team backs out, that counts as a win. It'll literally just be if the game says that we won, then we won. So there's really no other things I can think of that would mess with this. So Jared, since you're in last, you can take the first gamble here.
All right, I'm just going to put 4,000 on this going over.
Ooh. Even with Ryan doing his, he said 4K.
4,000 on over. Yeah, I think a 4-stack with communication, and I'll probably be interesting what Fox picks here, because I'll probably be telling of what he's going to do for our loadouts. But yeah.
Do you guys want me to tell you the loadout? Let me tell you the loadouts before. So, Jared, what you called on vacation last week was kind of exactly what I had planned out for you. So you're definitely going to be using a sidearm. I'm going to let you guys choose your own exotics and your own heavy weapons. Since heavy ammo is going to be kind of at a premium, you guys can choose that your way. So I do not have control over cousin Cody's loadout. So which, let's be honest, it probably doesn't matter that much anyway what he runs.
He just got that Vex, so I'm sure he's gonna be using it.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do, and do you guys care if I pick the actual weapon, or can I just pick the weapon class?
I think last week you said you were gonna pick the weapons and like where you fill it out, but I don't care.
Okay,
you're paying the points.
I'll do weapon class. So, Jared, I want you to have a sidearm as your primary, And for energy, I want you to run a sniper rifle.
So like in the kinetic slot, it has to be a sidearm, or you just saying?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Okay.
matter. Just primary ammo
Okay.
is sidearm, and then
Okay.
yeah. So and then Chad, I want your energy weapon to be a fusion rifle, and I want your primary weapon to be a scout rifle.
I mean, I know like I hate sidearms, but Chad loves fusion rifles.
Mine's a little more restrictive.
Yeah, trust me. There's not. I tinkered around with this today. I drove 160 some miles for work. I had a lot of time to think about your guys' loadout, because Chad basically has to pick a kinetic scout rifle, which is like servant leader and night watch is basically about it.
Yeah, no, mine's way more restrictive.
Yep. So, and then I can choose whatever I want. So, I will probably play. I was kind of thinking I would like kill the blockers and maybe like a SMG shotgun or SMG fusion or something is kind of what I was thinking. And then cousin Cody can do whatever he wants to do. Subclasses, I'm going to be nice. You guys can pick your own subclasses and exotics and all that. So I'm not going to be too terribly mean. So based upon that, what do you guys want to now go ahead and make your bet? Jared, do you want to stay with the 4,000 on the over?
Yeah, I'll stay.
Knowing that you're likely going to be the invader?
What? I got to
He's like,
with
wait.
sidearm.
Well, he's giving you a sniper.
Yeah, I got a sniper too. Okay. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll make it work. Oh, do I have to play on controller or mouse and keyboard?
Yeah, you have to play on controller.
So Chad has to play mouse and keyboard?
Chad has to play mouse and keyboard.
I'm just as good on both, so it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right. So the over was minus 200, right, Jared?
Yes.
All right. So 4,000 Glimmer bet will win 2,000 for a payout of 6,000.
What did you bet? Fox. How much did you put
Yes. I haven't bet yet. Chad's next. Next.
Okay.
Why are we going? And you're going last, huh?
Because
Mr. Big Money.
That's because I have your guys' money combined plus 21,000.
Okay. I mean, my loadout is it's fine. The scout's gonna be weird in Gambit.
No, dude. You go night watch.
No, I'm not saying for you. I'm saying for me. I don't use a scout in Gambit. It'll be fine. I'm just not used to it. Well, I'm gonna put a G on.
You're gonna put how much?
On losing 1,000. 1,000. I'm gonna put minimum bet.
Okay.
On
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 on the under. You think we're not even gonna win 60%?
Oh no, I know we are gonna win. So I'm just throwing away 1,000 for no reason.
Just in case.
Yeah. I mean, what Ryan put for me is what I already do.
Yeah.
And Jared's fine with a sniper. He's just gonna have to sit there on a controller for a minute. So it's gonna take him a minute.
The last time I played controller, I was playing a slasher. I wasn't even playing a first-person shooter.
See, that's the part. I know we're gonna be losing for at least a solid 20 minutes.
I'm gonna start practicing.
3 games. It's I'm gonna have to do some faster loss sectors with M&K just to get used to it.
All right, so Chad bets 1,000 to win 1,000 for a payout of 2,000. And because we are in a 4-stack, and to my knowledge, there is no like 4-stack versus 4-stack matchmaking. I'm going to say that we're going to go over. And I'm going to put, let's do 15K, 15,000 glimmer on the over.
All right.
And that will, so what was the over? The over was minus 200. And that will, 15,000 will pay out 7,500. Or I'm sorry, 15,000 will win 7,500 and pay out 22.5.
All right. So definitely some interesting times come up. I think we'll try to tweet that out, a little bit in advance before we go to do that. Sure, be entertaining. I'm gonna have to be drinking to get through that. That's gonna be fun. All right. So this week we were able to get together and then do the Grandmaster Proving Grounds. By far the hardest one of the season. I strapped on the old Titan boots and threw on the Ursa, and basically just paired up with Chad and started trading those Ursa shields out as we needed. And man, did we ever need those shields, and it didn't help us all the time like it should have either. First attempt, we got to that tank room, and that Colossus with a railgun shoots underneath the wall, and then gets us. And just a lot of bad luck in the strike. So, when you think about running the strike, you need overload. I mean, not overload. You need anti-barrier and unstoppable. So, unstoppable's on fusions. So all of us was running some kind of fusion for that particle deconstruction. What I did unstoppable Lewin's driver and the Tarantula, just sort of to switch up my shields. So I didn't want to go all void, and then I had an arc and then I had a anti-barrier auto in my kinetic slot, and that anti-barrier auto was not cutting, and thank God Fox was running Arianas.
Yeah. So I had Arianas with a tag on it. The kinetic grenade launcher that we've grinded all season 4 with blinding grenades.
The ignition code.
Ignition code. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, that, and I was running threaded needle. That's the linear fusion, right? That's not the bow.
Yep.
Yeah, threaded needle, void linear fusion, and I was running well, and I think I was running like, my stats were actually pretty decent. They were pretty balanced. I know it was like 7 resistance, like 8 or 9 recovery, 7 or 8 grenade or discipline, and then like 8 intellect. I wish I'd have been at 10 intellect to help with that, because we used a well quite a bit in that tank room. That tank room was just not fair, especially like the end portion of it, whenever that anti-barrier fella is just coming down that left side, just walking towards you, shooting, an unfair amount of speed without ever having to reload. So he kind of pulls that whole left side to where you can't get any sort of cover. And we took bad deaths where we were dying from splash damage that hit on like the other side of the wall, and just, it was very frustrating. But we got there. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, me and Chad was trading off those Ursas, and Fox, I think you forgot, use one to Chaos Reach to help take out the tanks.
I was running Chaos Reach. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the issue. That mixed in with the nerf to the boots.
Yep.
the geomag stabilizers to where you can't sprint to get that super energy back at like 85%. That made a very big difference in this.
I agree.
So,
after you get past that tank room, Chad, it's smooth sailing. I think that tank room is probably the hardest thing to do in the game right now with 3 people.
Oh, it's absolutely horrifying, that tank room. There's so much that can get you. I think my favorite death of ours, or my favorite wipe, was we're sitting behind the barricade and we're not sitting close to it, so nothing can hit it and hit us, and it's just me and Jared. So we're backed up enough that we don't have to worry too much. The anti-barrier guy underneath was already dead, so he couldn't shoot at us. But Ryan jumped up to chaos reach the tanks, and we're setting up, getting ready to take care of some ads, and then he gets hit by the tanks, which does enough. It has enough range to hit us with the AoE, and we just completely team wiped. And both Jared and I are like, nothing shot us, and Ryan's like, I got hit in midair, and the splash killed you guys.
that's so dumb. That is so dumb. I didn't realize how dumb that was at the time because I was trying to finish up to watch Kentucky.
You were
get
like
beat by Duke.
almost full jump up,
But-
and then activated chaos, and that was still not far enough away. That's hilarious. But that tank room is absolutely the roadblock for that strike. Once you get past that, if you have the teamwork to get past that, you can make it. And if you know the bosses, where the enemies spawn in the boss room, if you know the boss's tactics, you should be able to beat it after you get past that room. It isn't too much of a big deal. I did see a video earlier showing not a cheese spot, but that you're safer underneath the bridge because the tanks can't really get you. And as long as people are like focus firing on the ads on left and right, you're a little safer for the tank room. So if you want to try that, I think we might try that later on in the week if we want to do some more runs. But once you're past that boss room, it's just taking things nice and slow, not using Chaos Reach behind a Ursa, and just moving like a team, moving like a unit through everything. And
Fox, you
don't
can't do that.
Don't worry about being scared. Jump up, activate the door, and run away. Just do it. Just run away. Just make sure you make it, because if you make it past that tank room, don't put yourself through doing that again by wiping. Just take your time. Take your time, and you'll be fine.
And they need to shorten or decrease the health that the first boss that you fight, like in the opening area. They need to cut his health about 30%, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say a third would be fine.
They took out the back plate multiplier. You can't even get a crit when you shoot him in the back anymore. And usually Cabal
only
does
the
like
head.
an extra 10 or 20% when you shoot him in the back. So it's like, yeah, it don't make much sense. And then, that boss room, that oven in the back of the room that you just have to watch when it's turned on, it's your best friend for those fireballs when they're coming at you. If you communicate as a team, like all three of you is on like the left side, you see the balls coming, and you just move through the middle of it, and you come out on the other side, and all the balls hit and destroyed. Another thing, I've seen is that Telesto, whenever the boss does its second portion shield, like up on the top platform, you go underneath of it and shoot it with Telesto, and it destroys the shield.
So, Telesto is the besto.
Yep. Maybe having a Telesto can just make that boss room just a little bit easier to get through.
You think Telesto gets brought back in Destiny 3?
No, it's gonna do what Pocket Infinity did and just gonna sit there and not do anything.
It's gonna come back as a raid boss or like a dungeon boss or something like that.
Oh.
Just like a Telesto standing up on its side.
What was the dude's name? Was it Trevor? The dude's name to get the Outbreak Prime?
Yeah,
Trevor.
Yeah,
just wanted him with a Telesto in the front.
Yep, that's exactly what it's going to be. I think we finally got our Gilded Conqueror, and we get the rocket until February 22nd. Conqueror 3s. We should be Conqueror 6s right now, but Bungie's not retroactive about that. R&R, this is definitely up there with the harder seasons to become a Conqueror. I think we would all be in agreement there with Proving Grounds and the Corrupted. If you need help, they're about to unlock the node in the next few weeks of the catch-up node to be able to get them all done. So if you need help getting through a certain certain one or two of them, hit us up. Next week is double Nightfall rewards, but it is the Hollowed Lair, and that wasn't really that fun either. So, but if you need help, just hit us up and make our way through that. And Chad, I think we delayed this far too long. It's time for the Chronicler, Book of Sorrows, Part 2.
Yes, we left off with the meeting of the Leviathan. The sisters finally got deep enough that they ran to the Leviathan, and it said to turn back. It said, "Do not come down here. Do not go past this point." And so we get back into it. So we're in chapter 1, verse 8, Leviathan. The Leviathan's warning. We live on the edge of war, a war between formless and form, between the deep and the sky. My eyes are wide, my gaze is long. Across the universe, as far as I see, the sky works to charge its fires, and the deep drowns the ash. Sky builds gentle places safe for life. Beloved fundament, refuge of trillions. The sky treasures this rich place. But the deep is here with us. Cold logic tests our walls. The deep claims its dominion. A ruthless, final age. Arash's protest. Old Leviathan, creature of myth, this world is no refuge. We live short and hard lives. We die in the dark. The storm above us will never end, and soon the God wave will take us all. Above us there are only storm joys, monsters, and moons of apocalypse. Let us go down, down where we may discover the truth. Some power to avenge ourselves upon our betrayers, some hope of survival. The Leviathan's hope. What power calls you down to the deep? What instinct draws you away from high hope? Quick breeding krill people, I tell you, for eons I have watched you struggle, clinging to the sharp edge of survival, balanced between the deep and the sky. You were my treasure, my proof against despair. For this is the deep claim. Existence is the struggle to exist. When the struggle seems lost, when the safe place crumbles, everything turns to the deep to survive. Reject the deep claim. You will turn back, sweet krill of hope. You will choose the sky instead. Zero's protest. You are huge and old. Our lives are short and desperate. If that's the way the world's supposed to be, I won't have it. If people like Taux are supposed to win, I won't let them. I'll beat the world until it changes. I'll kill anything in the way. The Leviathan's dirge. This fatal logic, hear my monopole scream, it will consume you. Before you lies the worship of death, the ruinous path. The sky builds new life, against the onset of ruin, towards a gentle world. The deep embraces death, saying, this is inevitable and right. I exist as hungry ruin. Turn back from the world-killing way, or you will live as death and devastation. The sky is the harder way, but it is kinder. My charge is balanced, my voice exhausted. Sathona's protest. Sisters, I have my father's familiar. Look, it answers me in plain words. It helped me find this ship. It gives me strength when hope is lost. Who will you trust? The voice that wants us to live and suffer as we have lived and suffered? The Leviathan that offers no hope against Taux or the world wave? Or the plain, honest worm? Let us see where its whispers lead us, Arash. Let us go deeper, Zero. Let us dive, O sisters mine. You are Arash, heir to the Osmium throne. You stand on the naked hull of an ancient ship. You stand exposed to the crushing pressure and ferocious heat of the deeper fundament. It should annihilate you. It is by my will alone that you survive. I am Yule, the honest worm. Behold my passage, behold my vast displacement, my ponderous strength, my great and coiling length, my folded jaws and curled wings. Behold the hiving cities symbiotic with my flesh. I am fecund, Arash. I am the beginning and end of lives. Behold Er and Zol and Ur and Akka. the virtuous worms. Look upon us and know that we are good. For millions of years we have been trapped, growing in the deep. From across the stars we have called life to fundament so that we might contend against extinction. For millennia we have awaited you, our beloved hosts. Against you stand the cruel Leviathan and all the forces of the sky. They would crush you down into the dark. They have arranged your moons to drown you in fear of your potential. We want to help you, princes. We offer to each of you a bargain, a symbiosis. Take into your bodies our children, our newborn larvae. From them you shall obtain eternal life. From then you shall gain power over your own fragile flesh, the power to make of it as you will. And should you find an imperfection in the world, an injustice, or an inconvenience, you will have the power to repair it. Let no mere law bind you. We ask one thing in exchange. You must obey your nature forever. In your immortality, Arash, you may never cease to explore and inquire for the sake of your children. In your immortality, Zero, you may never cease to test your strength. And in your immortality, Sathona, you may never abandon cunning. If you do, your worm will consume you, and as your power grows, so will your worm's appetite. But we offer eternity, Arash. We offer you a chance at the universe. Would you deny your people infinity? Reach up to me, let my flesh be your sacrament. We are the worm, your god, the flesh of hope. Our compact is done. You are Arash, eternal, and we are bound to you as close as your appetites, as your love or needs is the weapon in your fists and the word in your throat. We have had enough of this dismal place, haven't you? We are in town. It means long thought. We approve. Savathun, mother morph of Sathona, we delight in your sharp mind. For millions of years the Leviathan caged us here. It is a pawn of the sky, a philosophy of cosmic slavery. The sky seeds civilizations predicted on a terrible lie, that right actions can prevent suffering, that pockets of artificial rules can defy the final, beautiful logic. This is like turning to burn water. Antithetic privation and competition are universal. In the deep, we enslave nothing. Liberation is our passion. We exist to help the universe achieve its terminal, self-forging glory. The war rages on and soon it will consume Fundament. We are pleased with the use of our larva to create mighty knights and plentiful warriors. Taux's retreat to the hydrogen fountain proves your superior strength. But you must know that reclaiming your home is not enough. There are 511 species living on Fundament. One of them must have the technology you need to leave this world. Zivu Arath, night morph of Zero. You love to conquer, don't you? We love to see you work. Nearly 2% of Fundament surface is now our domination. Your species embraces the worm. The syzygy has passed. The god wave will reach you in less than 2 years. Our organs inform us that Taux and her surviving refusalists flee towards Kaharn Atoll. She hopes to rally the species of Fundament against you. The Leviathan agent works tirelessly to destroy ships and engines, trapping us on Fundament. If we cannot make ships, we will become them. Overwhelm the Kaharn Bastion, slaughter everyone there. From your axe we shall obtain the logic we require to cut space open and migrate to orbit. Reality is a fine flesh, O general ours. Let us feast of it. You've done well, Oryx. Can you feel the growth of your worm? Can you feel your beginning to warp mere law? At times we detect sadness in you. Understand, long thinker, that you enact a sacred and majestic task. Existence is the struggle to exist. Only by playing that game to its final, unconditional victory can we complete the universe. Your war is divine work. We are free from Fundament's core, and Savathun's cutters are ready to fly. With Zero-Wrath victorious, we have opened a wound at Kaharn, a wound leading to a geostationary orbit. Behold, we are faithful to our covenant. We have no future on Fundament, but her moons will make fine habitats. Good news. The 52 moons of Fundament host a star-faring civilization, for more sophisticated than anything you've encountered so far. Taux's ship fled towards the large icy moon, where a species of bony, six-armed cephalopods keep their icy capital. Savathun's named them the Ammonites. They seem eager to grant Taux asylum. We tried appealing to their hopes and dreams. This was largely unsuccessful because they're already happy and indoctrinated. This angered us, so we've devised a plan. Our organs detect a 53rd moon in orbit of Fundament, a traveler, divine presence of the sky. Now we know what arranged the syzygy. You'll have to kill them all and take their stuff. Once the Ammonite are out of the way, we can deal with the traveler. Do not hesitate. You're fighting the hypocritical puppets of a cosmic parasite. Avenge our ancestors. This is unacceptable. Are you so weak, born as prey and doomed to die by predator? Oryx's failure of resolve led us to catastrophe. The Ammonite fleet under Chroma Admiral Refreet have pressed us back to the sixth moon. Once more we find ourselves burrowing into the world's core to survive. Savathun, you must draw Oryx out of his catatonia. Make him understand the ideals of peace and stability. He clings to our cancers, brutal, unjust obstacles between us and the fair cosmos. He clings to the bait stars the sky uses to blind its slaves. War is the natural rectification of inequality, the universe's way of pursuing equilibrium. Zivu Arath, you cannot defeat the Ammonites and Taux in line combat. We propose new tactics. Breed your armies back to strength and find a way to disperse the broods across these many moons. If we cannot defeat their strength, we will infect their weaknesses. At last. We knew curiosity would draw you back, Oryx. In their desperation, the Ammonite have begun using paracausal weapons. What are these? How do they work? Wouldn't you like to know? Suffice to say that some powers in this universe are superordinate to mere material physics. The source of these weapons is the Traveler, the sky's bait star. Their effect is subtle but devastating. But you are armed to respond in kind. Savathun's mothers have listened carefully to our teachings. We will not give you the deep, King Oryx. That power is for us, your gods. But we will teach you to call upon the Force with signs and rituals. Small minds might call it magic. You are no longer bound by causal closure. Your will defeats law. Kill 100 of your children with a long blade, Oryx, and observe the change in the blade. Observe how the universe shrinks from you in terror. Your existence begins to define itself. Of course, High Oryx. We know it was not curiosity alone that brought you back to the war. You felt your own death growing inside you. You must obey your nature. Your worm must feed. And that's where we're going to leave it for now. But it looks like they're going into war with the Ammonite, and the Ammonite was the first species that the Hive met that sided with the Traveler. So obviously the Traveler ran away from them, but we'll get to that one in time. But it's definitely interesting to see that this happened a long time ago, and the Traveler's been bouncing around from planets and moons in order to find other species that can take advantage of its light. So hopefully we're the last ones, and we can cage it up like Drifter's moon thing.
What comes to mind here is that the worms are not the darkness.
No, they're kind of, I would say they're kind of like what oh my gosh, Emperor Callus wants to be, like an avatar of the darkness.
Okay.
Like as close as you can get to the darkness without being the darkness.
All right.
All right. Think we're ready for the mailbag?
Yep.
All right. Question number 1. Remember how fun the 2 weeks of 12-man Nightfalls and raids were? Do you think we will ever see a PvE activity with more than 6 Guardians? I am not counting Patrol.
As long as old gen consoles is a part of Destiny 2, we will not see one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that's definitely the case. And I do remember how fun they were, and I wish those could come back. But I just don't think it's in the cards for what we have set up at the moment.
No, it would have to be a seasonal activity, and probably like a last hurrah, like leading into the last expansion, or maybe even like a season after the final expansion, something that they just like leave in the game and or I don't know, but I'd say 9 is more likely than 12.
Yeah, I agree.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
Question 2. And this question was from Cousin Cody, but for some reason here it got deleted. Do most people get raid exotics on their first attempt like I did this week with Vex Mythoclast? Chad, I'll hang up and listen.
I wasn't going to dignify that with a response, Ryan. So question number 3. Are we moving on?
I'll put on my tinfoil hat here. Okay.
We've had this conversation multiple times.
It's only going to happen to people that's new or just coming back to the game, and they go to run those raids. And if Cousin Cody ran Deepstone Crypt, he's probably going to get Eyes of Tomorrow within his first 5 runs. So yeah, that's the way the game goes. Like Destiny knows, Chad, they got you, and you're going to be playing every week, no matter what, and it enjoys watching you suffer not getting the drop. Just as much they enjoy watching somebody that's just coming back to the game and getting the exotic to drop for their first or second run.
All right. Question number 3. Why didn't Lorentz Driver get a bigger nerf? Jared, I'm going to let you tee off on this one, buddy.
It is the season pass weapon. So there were a bunch of expecting an influx of players come back for their 30th anniversary, come back to get Gallahorn, and then branch into the other parts of the game and say easily to get into PvP, especially on console. Lawrence Driver's going to be going around and getting headshots left and right, and people go like, what's that weapon? How do I get it? Oh, I can just pay $10 right now and get this weapon in my hands, and then they're going to get it in their hands, and it'll be nerfed come maybe Witch Queen or so after that.
Same thing. Like once it's out of the seasonal, as it's no longer the seasonal weapon, I think it's gonna get hit. Right now, it's the hot gun that people that start playing get for free, so they want it to still feel good while they can. That's it.
And especially if this Vex Mythoclast nerf takes a big hit, it's gonna be rising up even more.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only logical thing. There's no way that the people that make this game play this game and be like, yeah, that gun seems fair. Like, there's just no logical way for that. So that's what it has to be. Question 4. Will any of you be checking out Call of Duty Vanguard? So my wife purchased it last night or the night before, and it took hours to download because that's what Call of Duty is. It's just giant file sizes. It's wild. So since she has it, I imagine that I will probably pick it up as well. And then whenever nobody else is on, we like to play PvP and stuff very, very casually. So she'll play it much more than I will, but I'll also probably purchase it.
Have you seen some of the time to kills in that game right now?
Man, I watched Doc and Tim the Tatman play a couple nights ago. I watched him play for about 3 hours, and they were using some gun called like Warning Track, I think. And man, it was stupid.
Yeah.
It was so dumb. They were popping off like 60 and 70 kill games, and literally just standing at a hallway at one of the small maps and just mowing everybody down when they came into their line of sight. It was so dumb.
It's like a 0.4, 0.5 time to kill, like regular time to kill. That's nuts.
Yep. And then like once they started getting the attachments on it, it only got faster.
All right, last question here. What is your go-to gaming snack?
It's a hard one because you want to say chips because chips are great, but then you get your crumb dust all over your keyboard or your controller, depending on what you're gaming on. And it's so you don't really want to say that. Man, I love chips though, man. Like I'll risk it. I'll risk it. I'll get like free. What I'll do is I'll get Fritos, like the flaming hot Fritos. I'll put them in a cup and then just like drink them, so I don't have to touch them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love flaming hot Fritos, man. They're my favorite. But yeah, that's my salty snack there.
There was a girl that I had a couple classes with in college. We would she lived like off campus, so we would go hang out there. Sometimes we had the same major for a while, and she would eat Cheetos, like not like the cheesy poofs, but like the crunchy ones, and she would eat those with chopsticks,
Oh,
like out of the bag.
wow.
So
Yeah, A+. That's the way to do it. 100%.
yeah. For me personally, I do not snack while eating. I don't like getting my stuff all grimed up and like greasy. I pay, but that's also I take care of my peripherals. I didn't necessarily used to. There was I want to say it was like NBA 2K12. I spiked a controller one time and like shattered it into a million pieces. So after that, I kind of knock that off. Especially like once you start buying the nicer keyboards and mice and the elite controllers and stuff. It's a lot harder to when you pay more for it, you take better care of it, in my opinion, and it'll last longer. So typically, I eat before, but sometimes if I am going to eat, I'll eat something that I have to use a utensil to eat. So like right now, I got a box of boneless hot barbecue wings beside me that I just have a fork, so I'll just fork one every once in a while and eat it that way. So I'm anything that I can use a utensil to eat is fair game to me.
To me, it's I definitely don't want my stuff to get all crummy and everything. So it's fruit snacks, and right now at Sam's Club, like you can get a big box of the Welch's fruit snacks, and like you can easily eat those, and like nothing's on your hands. It's like it's not sticky or anything, and just get a couple of those and keep going.
So as a person with kids, so are these like the little fruit snacks that are kind of like that size?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, those are like rip them and just pour the whole thing in your mouth.
Yeah, you can do it that way. Yeah,
and
if
like
you're a
5 or 8
barbarian.
seconds they're gone. Like how many of those do you eat?
2.
You just keep the Costco box right next to you. And
No,
just
that's dangerous.
This is a snack.
Dude, I would eat 20 or 30 packs of those
It's
in
a snack. It's
a
not a
4-hour
dinner.
session.
yeah, we're not talking about meals. But
Well,
I do agree with him though. Those are so easy to just get be like, oh
Yeah.
shoot, I'm 14 packs in.
you look over and it looks like a graveyard of Welch's fruit snacks wrappers beside you. It's like, oh my God, Tiffany is going to be so mad that I ate this entire box. This
Oh
may or
my
may not have
gosh.
happened once before.
Thanks for reminding me. I
Oh.
need to get Dino Nuggies.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, those are.
Because you
those
can fork those too. Like you said, you can just fork ketchup or ranch and then
Yeah.
just toss them back.
Listen, you can fork anything, man. You just except
Can't fork
tacos.
Cheetos.
You can't fork a taco. But man, I did make some ballin' tacos the other night. But I wish I could have had the extra gluten tacos that Chad mentioned on last week's show.
Cheese. It was cheese. We're talking about more cheese. Okay.
You said that the shells had like extra gluten in them, and that's what made it
Cheese.
taste better. So we'll play it back. You guys want to go ahead and sign off, or did you have anything else? Jared, did you need to talk about New World, or are we still talking about that dead ass game?
Oh, it's dead, dying, and but they're putting a Void Gauntlet into there soon, so I don't know. See what happens. I'm still not through everything yet. I have probably like tomorrow my tracking and skinning animals trait is gonna be max level 200, and I know there's people that got 200 across the board on every trait in the first week, and I don't know how they did it. I'm still enjoying the game. I know a lot of people has left the game. Still stuff left for me to do. I haven't finished all the campaign yet. But I'm enjoying it, and to me, it's still worth the $40 that I spent on it.
Are you still playing with your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it much easier. Like I would never buy Call of Duty if it wasn't for my wife. So
Yep.
I get a little more
Same.
enjoyment having that time. Yeah. Chad has like 3 wives, so he has to really balance his time out.
Are you moving to Utah, Chad, so you can legally have them all?
Who says I'm not already there and I'm just lying to all of you?
That is true. I don't know. You send us a lot of pictures of tacos. I don't think they have that many tacos in Utah.
I could just make them all the time, just making tacos.
I don't know, man. I've went up and down the spice aisle many times looking for gluten, and I cannot find it anywhere. So I have no idea where you're getting those at.
Uh,
All right. Well, I will go ahead. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. We will try to get something up about when we're going to do this gambit. I'm hoping it'll be this weekend, maybe Saturday. I don't know. We'll see what's up. Saturday's probably the most likely answer to that. And it'll be like pretty late Eastern time. So watch us while you're drinking your nightcap whenever you get back to your house from doing something fun.
Yep. Weapons to go wall. I love all these changes. Little concerned about DMT, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
And get ready for more Hive lore. It's coming at you hard. Next, I think we got 3 more weeks to get through this whole Book of Sorrows, but we'll get there.
Go Cats. Love you guys.